And 9 corrupt and inept officers have been sacked in a cleanup operation in Jammu and Kashmir. The government officials have been accused of raising fake bills, financial irregularities, making illegal appointments during their tenure. And this is the big breaking news that we're getting from the Jammu and Kashmir Valley, where in a mega crackdown on corrupt officials, remember 9 corrupt and inept government officials have been sacked, and these officials have been accused of financial irregularities. And I'm being joined by my colleague Pradeep live on the broadcast to tell us more on this. Pradeep, a big headway when we talk of the crackdown on the corrupt officials and babus, and definitely I feel like this can set a big precedent for other states as well to follow the suit. What more do we know about these officials and the reasons why they were sacked?
Yes, Pooja, you're absolutely right. Continuing with their policy of zero tolerance towards corruption, Lieutenant Governor administration today has decided to sack 9 officials, which included the secretary-level officials. They are found to be involved in embezzlement of funds, misappropriation of funds, corrupt practices. Somebody has taken out the TA without proper approval, and some of them had already been taking bribe and involved in the illegal allowing the illegal construction in the particular area. So inquiry was going on against such officials, and finally they are found to be involved in corrupt practices. So government had decided to sack them, go for the premature retirement. And the message is to be sent loud and clear to others also. Whosoever will be indulging in corrupt practices, they will not be spared, because they want to provide a clean, good governance, and where there is an accountability and transparency. Because people had been complaining that many of these officials were involved in corrupt practices, and some of them already, the inquiry was conducted by Anti-Corruption Bureau, and that inquiry was still pending. Many of them had already been suspended. So the department inquiry also proved that they were involved in corrupt practices, and finally more inquiry was conducted. And when found that they had been indulging in this corrupt means for the last several years, so finally there was no option for the government but to sack them. A message is to be sent loud and clear to each and every person that anybody involved in any kind of corrupt practices, misappropriation of funds, embezzlement, they will not be tolerated. Already we have seen that more than 60 officials in the past who had been found to be involved in terror-related activities, they had been sacked, which included 2 sons of Sayyid Salahuddin, chief commander of Hizbul Mujahideen, who's sitting across the border in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, where from he is operating. So, see, there was a kind of an ecosystem where the people had been supporting such elements. They had been providing good posting to these people who were involved in corrupt practices. But now the government, the Lieutenant Governor led by Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha, he has made it clear that any such things will not be allowed, because they want the people should not suffer. Why? In fact, the people had been suffering in Jammu and Kashmir. Reason being, one, there was the 2 families who had been controlling things. The second thing was there was a dynasty rule. The third thing had been the corruption was randomly going on, and nobody was keeping a check on the corrupt means. So now they are just cracking whip on them. The crackdown is going on. It will not be wrong if I call it a surgical strike on the corruption, where they have shown door to more than 60 officials for terror links, and now these 9 officials have been sacked and they had been axed for their involvement in corrupt practices. So I think this is a very healthy and a good sign. People will be really appreciating this thing, because nothing of that sort had happened in the past. It was only suspension, and many times we had seen that the corrupt officials used to get the best at the postings. But now I think though that era is over. So I think that's a very strong message. And let's see, in the coming days also, many more officials are expected to be sacked, because there is already a list of about 500 officials who are said to be involved either in terror-related activities or said to be deadwood, means either they are inept or involved in any kind of corrupt practices. So that list is already being prepared. Inquiry is going on. Once the inquiry will be complete, they will also be axed and shown door.
Absolutely, Pradeep. Thank you so much for sharing all those details with us. So that's the J&K administration walking the talk when we talk of its zero tolerance towards corruption policy in the Valley.